The webinar is starting now. One individual may die for an idea, but that idea will, after his death, incarnate into 1,000 lives. Namaskar, a very good afternoon to everyone. I, Siddharth Mishra, with my co-host Subharani, on behalf of Akhil Bharatiya Vidyarthi Parishad Law Center 1 and Law Center 1 Student Union, welcome you all on today's webinar, which is organized to celebrate the 125th birth anniversary of Subhash Chandra Bose, one of the greatest son of our motherland ever produced. आज का कार्यक्रम का विषय है नेताजी's vision, role of youth. Netaji's vision, role of youth in today's nation building, and law as a paradigm of opportunities. अखिल भारतीय विद्यार्थी परिषद, जो कि यह हर वर्ष एक पखवाड़ा, युवा पखवाड़ा के वर्ष रूप में कार्यक्रम करवाता है, जो 12 जनवरी से लेकर 23 जनवरी तक मनाया जाता है। आज के विषय पर चर्चा करने के लिए और अपने विचार प्रकट करने के लिए हमारे बीच मौजूद हैं श्री गुरु प्रकाश पासवान जी और विकास राम त्रिपाठी जी। आज का कार्यक्रम अखिल भारतीय युवा पखवाड़ा के हिस्सा है, जो कि अखिल भारतीय विद्यार्थी परिषद हर वर्ष कार्यक्रम को कार्यान्वित करता है। कार्यक्रम को आगे बढ़ाने से पहले मैं एक संक्षिप्त विवरण विद्यार्थी परिषद का देना चाहूंगा। अखिल विद्यार्थी परिषद विश्व का सबसे बड़ा छात्र संगठन है, जिसकी स्थापना सन 1949 में छात्र हितों को आगे रखते हुए और राष्ट्र को पुनर्निर्मित, समृद्धशाली और स्वाभिमानी राष्ट्र के रूप में पुनर्निर्मित करने के लक्ष्य से हुई। स्थापना से लेकर आज तक यह छात्र हितों और राष्ट्र निर्माण के बीच सदैव कार्यरत और प्रयत्नशील रहा है। अब मैं अपनी को-होस्ट सुभा रानी से को आमंत्रित करना चाहूंगा कि वो आगे आए और अपने विचार।
Good afternoon, everyone, and I welcome you all on the occasion of 125th birth anniversary of Subhash Chandra Bose. The government of India recently announced that the birth anniversary of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose is to be celebrated as Parakram Divas every year on 23rd of January. Netaji was one of the most prominent Indian freedom fighters during the country's struggle for independence. He revived and led the Indian National Army, or the Azad Hind Fauj, in 1943. He is popularly known as Netaji. He is the creator of slogan Jai Hind, which is a popular patriotic salutation in the country. Netaji firmly believed that in the process of fundamental transformation of society, the youth has a key role to play. Bose had profound faith in what the youth can do to build a better world. He believed that hope, enthusiasm, sacrifice, and courage are the special attributes of youth. To enlighten more about it, we have among Guru Prakash Paswan ji. Guru Prakash Paswan ji is an assistant professor of law at Patna University and is a visiting fellow at the Indian Foundation. He is also a national advisor to the Dalit Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry. He regularly contributes to the Indian Express, The Print, and other national dailies and news portals. Now, I would like to request Guru Prakash Paswan sir to kindly share his views with us. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, सिद्धार्थ मिश्रा जी, सुभा रानी जी। एक परिचय शायद आप लोगों ने नहीं दिया, मुझे लगता है कि जानबूझ के नहीं दिया है। वो मेरे पीछे का बैकग्राउंड शायद आपको बता देगा। मैं भारतीय जनता पार्टी का राष्ट्रीय प्रवक्ता के नाते भी दायित्व का निर्वहन कर रहा हूँ, नेशनल स्पोक्सपर्सन ऑफ द बीजेपी। बट मोर इम्पोर्टेंटली, आई हैव रूट्स बोथ इन लॉ सेंटर 1 and Akhil Bharatiya Vidyarthi Parishad as well. As a कार्यकर्ता myself from 2006, when I was doing my law from National Law University Bhopal, we started our इकाई in the university, so it is like a homecoming. बड़ा ही अच्छा लगता है जब अपने परिवार, अपने संगठन के लोगों में आकर के अपने बातों को रखने का अवसर मिलता है। इसीलिए आज का दिन बड़ा ही महत्वपूर्ण है. The day is very important and we are celebrating Parakram Divas. Parakram, as you know, means courage and valor. The stellar leadership which Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose in this entire lifetime has displayed is phenomenal. हम लोगों को ये समझने की आवश्यकता है कि जिस प्रकार एक आजादी के बाद कांग्रेस और कम्युनिस्टों का नेक्सस था, एक प्रकार से हमें समझना चाहिए कि एक अंडरस्टैंडिंग थी. कांग्रेस ने कहा कि भाई शासन हम लोग चलाएंगे, लेकिन जो एकेडमिक एस्टैब्लिशमेंट रहेगा वो लेफ्ट विंग के जिम्मे रहेगा. तो अब देखो, जितने भी थिंक टैंक्स हैं, गवर्नमेंट के जितने रिसर्च इंस्टीट्यूशंस हैं, उसमें एक प्रकार से एक पर्टिकुलर विचार, एक पर्टिकुलर थॉट का ही बोलबाला रहा है, उन्हीं का डोमिनेंस रहा है. और ये कहने की पृष्ठभूमि ये है कि जानबूझ करके द कांग्रेस प्लस कम्युनिस्ट इंटेलिजेंशिया नेक्सस, they deliberately in their urge to propagate and perpetuate only one family, एक ही परिवार को वो पूरे के पूरे स्वतंत्रता संग्राम का श्रेय देने के वजह से उन्होंने बाकी जितने भी महात्मा उस समय हुए उन सबको भुला दिया. वो चाहे बाबा साहेब अम्बेडकर हो. हम लोग देखते हैं कि इतिहास के पन्नों में किस प्रकार बाबा साहेब अम्बेडकर को मात्र वंचित वर्ग के नेता के रूप में प्रस्तुत किया गया है. It is a great disservice. It is a great disservice to the soul of these great personalities like Baba Saheb Ambedkar and Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose as well. The list is endless. हम लोग अगर थोड़ा सा अध्ययन करेंगे तो हमें पता चलेगा कि जानबूझ करके एक एजेंडा के तहत, एक प्रोपोगेंडा के तहत सिर्फ एक परिवार को पूरे के पूरे आजादी की लड़ाई का श्रेय मिले, ये प्रयास था. जितने भी इतिहास लिखने वाले लोग थे, जितने भी बुद्धिजीवी थे, जितने भी चिंतक थे, जितने भी विचारक थे, उन्होंने अपने लेखों के माध्यम से, अपने पाठ्यक्रम के माध्यम से जिस प्रकार का इंटेलेक्चुअल एविडेंसेस सामने आया है, उन्होंने सिर्फ एक ही परिवार को, जो नेहरू गांधी परिवार के नाम से हम लोग जानते हैं, उनको ये श्रेय देने का काम किया है, जो कि बहुत ही बड़ा अन्याय है. हम लोगों को एज एन एकेडमिक, एज थिंकिंग इंडिविजुअल, एज a volunteer of a nationalist organization, it is our fundamental duty to understand that the contribution of other leaders were also equally important. I would like to quote, मैं नेताजी के कोट को यहां बताना चाहता हूं, जो उन्होंने 1923 में, in 1923 उन्होंने लिखा था इसको, ड्रीम्स ऑफ यूथ, क्योंकि आज का विषय है कि यूथ पे उनका क्या प्रभाव है. मैं ये पढ़ के सुनाना चाहता हूं आपको. He said, and I quote, "We have been born into this world in order to fulfill a purpose." हम सब इस पृथ्वी पे आए हैं तो एक पर्पस के साथ आए हैं. To spread a message, just as the sun rises to flood the earth with sunlight. जिस प्रकार सूर्योदय होता है और सूर्य के प्रकाश से पूरे धरती पे, पूरे पृथ्वी पे रोशनी का स्वर फैल जाता है. As the flower boom in the forest to spread their fragrance, फूल का जो सुगंध होता है उससे आसपास का पूरा विहंगम दृश्य हो जाता है, एक वातावरण सकारात्मक हो जाता है. As the river rushes to the sea to bring the sweet refreshing rain, we have come to this world full of joy with the fullness of our heart to establish a truth, and that is to discover the unknown and mystical purpose of life through contemplation and a life of action, which only can make otherwise senseless existence meaningful. अगर आपके जीवन में कोई ध्येय नहीं है, उन्होंने उदाहरण स्वरूप यहां प्रस्तुत किया है, सूर्य का अपना काम है, नदियों का अपना काम है. नदियां ना पिए कभी अपना जल, वृक्ष ना खाए कभी अपना फल, अपने तन को, अपने मन को, अपने धन को देश को जो दे दान रे, वो सच्चा बलिदान रे. तो इस माध्यम से हमें नेताजी बताना चाहते हैं कि आप कल्पना नहीं कर सकते हैं. नेताजी अपने जीवन काल में, अपनी युवावस्था में सबसे ज्यादा किनके विचारों से प्रभावित थे? वो थे रामकृष्ण परमहंस और स्वामी विवेकानंद. ये हमें समझना चाहिए. जो उनके आइडियाज हैं, जो उनके मूल्य हैं, जो उनके आदर्श हैं, वो स्वतंत्रता के ही क्यों ना हो, सामाजिक न्याय के ही क्यों ना हो, इट वॉज नॉट बोरोड फ्रॉम द वेस्ट. जो कि उस समय के जितने भी इंटेलेक्चुअल लीडर्स थे, उनका जो अधिकतर विचार था वो पाश्चात्य से प्रेरणा लेता था. लेकिन नेताजी के जो आइडियाज थे, नेताजी जैसा कि अपने कई लेखों में, कई भाषणों में उन्होंने कहा, उनके वर्ल्ड व्यू में, उनके दर्शन में रामकृष्ण परमहंस हैं, उनके दर्शन में विवेकानंद है। इसीलिए जब भी वो स्वतंत्रता की बात करते हैं, जब भी वो समाज में न्याय की बात करते हैं, तो वहां पे वेस्ट का कोई हैंगओवर नहीं दिखता है, जैसा कि बाकी तब के चिंतकों में दिखता था। हम सब जानते हैं कि 1921 में इंडियन सिविल सर्विसेज में 4थी रैंक लाई थी, 4th पोजीशन। आज भी हम जानते हैं कि विश्व का सबसे कठिन परीक्षा होता है यूनियन पब्लिक सर्विस कमीशन, जिससे आईएएस आईपीएस सर्विसेज निकलते हैं। आप कल्पना करिए 1923 में, लगभग 100 वर्षों पहले, कितना प्रेस्टिजियस सर्विस होता होगा। उसमें 4थी पोजीशन लाने के बाद भी उन्होंने नकार दिया। और क्या आपको पता उसका कारण क्या था? उसका कारण यह था दैट आई डू नॉट वांट टू गो बिलो हर रॉयल हाइनेस। जो कॉमनवेल्थ की रानी हुआ करती थी, जो एम्प्रेस हुआ करती थी, उनके नीचे हम सर नहीं झुकाएंगे। इस आधार पे नेताजी सुभाष चंद्र बोस ने कहा कि ऐसी नौकरी को मैं ठोकर मारता हूं, मैं अस्वीकार करता हूं। अब इससे बड़ी प्रेरणा और क्या हो सकती है? और उस प्रेस्टिजियस कुशन वाली नौकरी को छोड़ करके उन्होंने अपने आप को झोंक दिया स्वतंत्रता संग्राम में। वो कहते थे कि हम लोग एक नया भारत कैसे बनाएंगे। आप कभी भी देखिए हिज इनडोमिटेबल करेज, उनका शक्ति, उनका स्ट्रेंथ। आप देखिए एक सबमरीन में माहौल बड़ा ही क्लॉस्ट्रोफोबिक रहता है, बड़ा ही घुटन वाला रहता है। उस सबमरीन से बहुत सारे कॉन्टिनेंट्स की यात्रा नेताजी सुभाष चंद्र बोस ने की है। जब वो हिटलर से मिलने जाते हैं, और हिटलर इस समय अपने पीक पे है, हिटलर के ट्रांसलेटर को वो कहते हैं कि मैं यहां राजनीति सीखने नहीं आया हूं, मैंने जीवन भर राजनीति किया है। तो ऐसी साहस, ऐसा बल अगर किसी ने दिखाया तो वो नेताजी थे। अपने राजनीतिक करियर की शुरुआत करते हैं, और राजनीतिक करियर में भी कांग्रेस पार्टी में जब अध्यक्ष का चुनाव होता है तो महात्मा गांधी के उम्मीदवार कौन थे हम सब जानते हैं। तो महात्मा गांधी के उम्मीदवार को हरा करके अध्यक्ष का चुनाव जीतते हैं। तो ये सब उदाहरणों से हमें पता चलता है कि किस प्रकार नेताजी का जो जीवन था वो अपने आप में एक तीर्थ था। His life in itself was a pilgrimage that we will see in his spiritual journeys, in his spiritual advances in the future as well. In addressing his first youth congress, पहली बार जब वो एक युवा कॉन्फ्रेंस को संबोधित कर रहे थे, उन्होंने कहा every human being, ध्यान से सुनिएगा, every human being, man or woman, is born equal. He or she shall have equal opportunities of development, and that should be our dictum. He further said that there should be equal opportunities for education and development. आज जो हम लोग डिबेट देखते हैं, वो चाहे प्रेफरेंशियल ट्रीटमेंट का हो, आरक्षण का हो, इसके विजन में भी, इसके पृष्ठभूमि में भी नेताजी के सोच को समझने की आवश्यकता है। वो कहते हैं कि इक्वल अपॉर्चुनिटी होना चाहिए, सभी के लिए समान अवसर होने चाहिए। वो व्यक्ति उसके जाति के आधार पे, धर्म के आधार पे, क्षेत्र के आधार पे, भाषा के आधार पे किसी प्रकार का डिस्क्रिमिनेशन नहीं होना चाहिए। इस विजन के साथ नेताजी आगे बढ़ रहे हैं। तो आप देखिए जो उनकी पूरी यात्रा है, उनके जितने संघर्ष हैं, उनके जितने करेजियस एग्जाम्पल हैं, वो चाहे हिटलर से मुलाकात हो या महात्मा गांधी के उम्मीदवार को कांग्रेस के अध्यक्षीय चुनाव में हराना हो, पनडुब्बी से यात्रा करना हो, एक दूसरे देश में जाकर के, जापान में जाकर के आजाद हिंद फौज की स्थापना करना हो, ये सब हमें देखने की आवश्यकता है, पढ़ने की आवश्यकता है और समझने की आवश्यकता है। देखिए उन्होंने कहा था कि दो प्रमुख स्तंभ होते हैं। द रोल ऑफ द यूथ हैज टू बी बिल्ट ऑन टू इंपॉर्टेंट पिलर्स। ध्यानपूर्वक सुनिएगा कि दो महत्वपूर्ण ऐसे कौन कौन से स्तंभ हैं जिसपे नेताजी का कहना था कि उसमें युवाओं की भूमिका अहम हो सकती है। द फर्स्ट पिलर इज विजन फॉर अ बेटर वर्ल्ड। एक बेहतर समाज, एक बेहतर विश्व के निर्माण में युवाओं की क्या भूमिका हो सकती है, ये पहला पिलर है। दूसरा पिलर है कैरेक्टर। दो इंपॉर्टेंट पिलर हैं जिसपे नेताजी युवाओं की भूमिका को तलाश रहे हैं और कहते हैं कोई भी युवा जो कि राष्ट्र की सेवा में, समाज की सेवा में आगे आना चाहता है, उसके पास दो फंडामेंटल रिक्वायरमेंट्स होने चाहिए। वो दो रिक्वायरमेंट्स क्या क्या है? पहला कि उसमें काल्पनिक क्षमता होनी चाहिए और दूसरा उसमें चरित्र होना चाहिए। Your vision for a better world. What is your vision for a better world? And the strength of your character. That is something which is very important, and this is what Netaji is indicating throughout with his journey, with his utterances. So it is extremely important for us to understand that point. आज हम लोग देखते हैं कि भाई तरह तरह की बातों पे भेद क्रिएट करने का प्रयास किया जाता है, कभी जाति के नाम पे, कभी लिंग के नाम पे। जब विश्व में किसी भी देश में, किसी भी ज्यूरिसडिक्शन में महिलाओं के लिए अलग से बटालियन हो, इस पे चर्चा होती थी, बातचीत होती थी, लेकिन कुछ कॉन्क्रीट नहीं निकल के आता था। लेकिन हम लोगों ने देखा कि किस प्रकार महिलाओं के लिए आजाद हिंद फौज में द रानी ऑफ झांसी बटालियन, ये भी ध्यान योग्य बात है कि आजाद हिंद फौज की जब कल्पना हुई थी, उसकी शुरुआत हुई थी, उसमें महिलाओं के लिए अलग से बटालियन होना, आप समझ जाइए कि इस व्यक्ति की क्या दूरदर्शिता है, क्या विजन है, क्या फोरसाइट है। इसीलिए हम लोग जितना उनके बारे में पढ़ेंगे हमें उतना ही आनंद आएगा और उतनी ही उनसे प्रेरणा लेने की हमें विश्वास हमारे मन में पैदा होगा। निरंतर आज भी हम लोग देखते हैं कि तरह तरह की समस्याओं से हमारा देश गुजर रहा है, वो चाहे समाज आर्थिक सामाजिक असमानता हो, अपॉर्चुनिटीज की कमी हो, गरीबी हो, लेकिन उसके बावजूद भी जिस प्रकार एक जर्नी की शुरुआत हुई है पिछले 6-7 वर्षों में, खासकर कि एक पॉजिटिव एजेंडा के साथ, एक पॉजिटिव एजेंडा, एक कंस्ट्रक्टिव एजेंडा के साथ जो सरकार काम कर रही है, उसको हम लोग को देखने की आवश्यकता है। अब ऐसा क्यों है कि पहली की सरकारों ने कोई पराक्रम दिवस के बारे में क्यों नहीं सोचा? ऐसा क्यों है कि 2019 में जब रिपब्लिक डे का परेड होता है, सिर्फ वहीं पे ही इंडियन नेशनल आर्मी का एक पार्टिसिपेशन देखने को मिलता है? इतने सालों से, आजादी के बाद से काफी वर्ष हो गए, लेकिन अगर नेताजी के लिए आपके मन में इतना ही सम्मान था, आपके हृदय में इतना ही उनके लिए आदर था, तो आजाद हिंद फौज को आपको प्रेजेंटेशन देना चाहिए था, वहां पे एक पार्टिसिपेशन होना चाहिए था, लेकिन ऐसा नहीं होता है। इसलिए जितना हम लोग ऐतिहासिक पृष्ठभूमि में जाएंगे उतना हम लोग और अधिक सीखने का हमें मौका मिलेगा। लेकिन कुछ बातें मैं आपके समक्ष रखना चाहूंगा जो कि नेताजी के जीवन से उदाहरण के रूप में सामने आता है, और उसमें से पहला है, यू शुड लीड बाय योर ओन एग्जाम्पल। आपको अपने आप को उदाहरण के रूप में प्रस्तुत करना चाहिए। अब इसका क्या अर्थ है? कहते हैं that is by refusing to indulge in activities which have created the current crisis। अभी जो भी समस्या है, भ्रष्टाचार है, कर्महीनता है, तो यदि आप खुद एक उदाहरण के रूप में स्वयं को प्रस्तुत करेंगे और इन सब क्रियाकलापों में इसके पार्ट नहीं बनेंगे, तो ये भी आपका अपने आप में एक योगदान होगा। दूसरा पॉइंट कहते हैं by taking steps to expose those who engage in wrongful activities। यदि आपको लगता है कि आपके समाज में, आपके संस्थान में कोई गैर कानूनी असामाजिक कार्यों में लिप्त हो रहा है, तो सिर्फ उसको ठीक करना नहीं, उसको ठीक करने के लिए क्या क्या कदम उठाना, इस दिशा में भी प्रयास करना। तीसरा क्या है? प्रोटेक्शन ऑफ द एनवायरनमेंट। एज अ यंगस्टर हम लोग एक सकारात्मक भूमिका अदा कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि पूरा का पूरा विश्व आज एक क्लाइमेट क्राइसिस, हम लोगों ने देखा पूरे पिछले साल में जो कोरोना का कालांश निकला है, उसमें बहुत बड़ी भूमिका क्लाइमेट की भी थी। और जब क्लाइमेट का क्राइसिस होगा तो इंडिया विल बी एट द रिसीविंग एंड। ये बात आप लोग कान खोल करके सुन लीजिए। अगर हम लोग क्लाइमेट की चिंता नहीं करेंगे तो क्लाइमेट चेंज का जो सबसे बड़ा नुकसान होगा वो भारत को ही पड़ने वाला है, क्योंकि यहाँ की सामाजिक, भौगोलिक, आर्थिक स्थितियां ऐसी है। इसीलिए यंग पीपल आर इन्वॉल्व इन स्प्रेडिंग अवेयरनेस के रूप में, जैसे आप लोग अभी यहाँ पे साथ आकर के काम कर रहे हैं, नेताजी के विचारों का स्मरण कर रहे हैं, उनको नमन अर्पित कर रहे हैं, उनको श्रद्धांजलि अर्पित कर रहे हैं। इस माध्यम से हम लोग निरंतर किस प्रकार समाज में एक सकारात्मक विमर्श खड़ा करने का प्रयास करें, और ऐसे नायकों को, ऐसे महानायकों को, ऐसे युग पुरुषों को जिसको इतिहास के पन्नों में भुला दिया गया, एक एजेंडा के तहत, एक प्रोपोगेंडा के तहत, उनके बारे में अच्छा रिसर्च करके, अच्छा पेपर लिख के, अच्छे कार्यक्रम करके उनका स्मरण हम लोग कैसे करें, ये सही मायनों में एक उचित श्रद्धांजलि होगी। और वैसे तो बहुत कुछ है, लेकिन नेताजी के संदर्भ में हम लोग जितना पढ़ेंगे, कुछ अच्छे आर्टिकल्स भी हैं, मैं इस इवेंट के ऑर्गेनाइजर्स को भेज दूंगा ताकि आप लोग के बीच में साझा कर सकें। इन चंद शब्दों के साथ मैं अपनी वाणी को विराम दूंगा और पुनः धन्यवाद ज्ञापित करूंगा इस इवेंट के ऑर्गेनाइजर को कि आपने मुझे मौका दिया अपनी बातों को आपके समक्ष रखने का। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
जी सर, आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। मैं सभी की ओर से गुरु प्रकाश पासवान जी का बहुत बहुत हार्दिक अभिनंदन और धन्यवाद करता हूं कि उन्होंने अपने बिजी शेड्यूल से इन चंद मिनटों देकर हमें हमें छात्रों को एक नए अवगत से एक नए अपने सारे विषयों पे ऊपर ये जो अपनी वाणी रखी। धन्यवाद सर। Now, moving on to other topic, law as a paradigm of opportunities. As most of us who has gathered here are law students and connected to it, we are keen to know and desirous to explore the options which we have in the field of law. For this, we have a special person who actually needs no introduction in our faculty, but it is my responsibility to introduce him. Dr. Vikesh Ram Tripathi sir is an assistant professor at Faculty of Law, University of Delhi. He has a great experience of teaching at undergraduate and postgraduate law program. He has presented research papers and many journals in the field. And now I would like to request Vikesh Ram Tripathi sir to enlighten us and share his words of wisdom with us. Now over to you, sir.
Thank you, Siddharth. I hope I am audible to all of you.
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir.
Okay. So, first of all, I am really, in fact, indebted to the ABVP, the Law Center 1 unit, and the entire, the student team for inviting me to have an interaction with you people. And apart from that, the student union of the Law Center 1 for this organizing this event. I congratulate, and in fact, we have just heard Sri Guru Prakash Paswanji, and on the he was talking about the life and the ideology, and in fact how the historically the things has been misrepresented and all that. And I think uh, with this, let us talk about something in law, because see, we are celebrating this day as a Parakram Divas, and in fact, Netaji is known. In fact, thinking out of the box, thinking you can say, because as Guru Prakash ji was talking that he was the fourth rank in the Indian civil services. But in spite of that, he has decided not to continue with the civil services, and rather to you know what. To decide to do something that was really needed at that time. And I think he was the one of the with very many people, one of the person who contributed a lot to now India become free. So I think much has been talked by the Guru Prakash ji on the life of Netaji. See, the only thing before I start about my presentation is the Netaji. He is called Netaji, I tell you. So why? The Netaji means the one who lead it. There were so many personalities. If you will you will read the freedom fight struggle and all that. But this title was conferred to him because he was a man who think out of the box, and he started parallel army, that too without any funding, with the coordination. And see, not only this, with the help of Japan and Germany and all that, he started fighting a war with the existing government. So in fact, the point which I am trying to tell you all is that he was a man with a leadership quality, and that is why this title has been conferred to him. So with this, let us now talk about the career opportunities in the law. We are celebrating this Parakram Divas, and one of the topic that we are going to be discussed, because as told by the speakers that the many students are of the law students. So see, I request, I think with the organizers, so that I can present my PPT, a small PPT.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I hope this my PPT is visible to all of you.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Career opportunities after law in India. So, friends, see, generally we know when we do the law, those they have come in the legal, you know what, after doing their graduation, we come, they join the law. The first thing come into their mind that after LLB, they will do the, you know, advocacy or join a legal profession, or like something, you know what, lawyering, or so the maximum they can think of, like to start their own legal firm. So these the few things are a limited, you know what, thinking about the law, that after the or the maximum we add to the judiciary, that someone can, after doing the law, can become a judge. But let me tell you, my dear friend, that see, now law is reaching beyond the limits. The new horizons are developing in the legal profession. The new, you know what, the new style, new techniques and technology, the development of technology is expanding. So new way of dispute settlement is increasing. So now the role of the law or legal profession is no more only the, you know what, settlement of the dispute. Now we are moving to a phase. We are moving to a phase from a dispute settlement to the dispute management. Why? Because see, the corporate sector, the in fact, the kind of economy we have in and around, and the way it, with the pace it is moving, we cannot afford the disputes. And see, there are like disputes that can never be, you know what, the ultimate settlement can never be possible. So therefore, now the management, in fact, the management schools are started dispute management, teaching dispute management. So in a coming 10 to 15 minutes, I will be talking to you what are the traditional, you know what, opportunities in the law, and after that, what are the new opportunities that are emerging in the law. See, advocacy, as we all know, but see, there is a three category: the advocate, the lawyering, attorney, advocacy, and counseling. So three categories. So advocacy is a one thing. The one who is get enrolled in Advocate Act 1961 is called advocate. But apart from that, see, even if you are not enrolled, but you have a law degree, you can be called as a lawyer also. See, lawyering is an art, I tell you, always see. Advocate is a status which you enjoy after getting enrolled in the Advocate Act. So lawyering is, you know what, you can be a lawyer of a particular firm, or apart from that, you can start your own legal counseling consultancy. So advocacy, the one who is an advocate, and apart from that, the attorneys. So attorney of a particular firm, you can be an attorney. So these are the traditional, you know what, lookout of the profession, that is advocate. Generally, we cover under that. Apart from that, after doing the law, you can think of the government services. We are like, in fact, if the policy of the government will be come into the reality, there will be All India Judicial Services. The government has introduced this bill already, and in fact, I request all of you, and they are going to be, you know what, create a new All India Services. We have the three kind of All India so far.
Sorry to interrupt you, sir, but sir, your voice is breaking.
Sir, your voice is not coming clear, sir.
Okay.
Now it's audible, sir.
Now audible?
Yes, sir, it's audible now.
Anyway, so I think
Sir,
that
if you
might
can
be
turn off the video, then voice better will be.
okay. Just a minute. If I will off my video. Okay. Now I think am I audible? I have off my video.
Yes, sir, you are audible. Everything is okay.
Thank you. Thank you. See, I will be summing up. See, so we know much about advocacy and all that. I was talking about the government services. So this government, thanks to this government, that they are planning and they are coming with the All India Judicial Services. And see, we in fact, you know what, the flood of opportunity, the all, you know what, the lower judicial services will be and higher judicial services will be combined, and they will be called All India Judicial Services. And the appointment will be done through a common channel, a common platform. And I think this government is always known for this. Their policy is to create much of the opportunity. And in fact, see, it would be really, I tell you, because as of now, if you will look onto the, so if you are wanted to be enter into the judicial services, there is a two way: lower judicial services and higher judicial services, and you apply for a different state separately. After just completing your LLB, you can apply for a judicial services at the entry level. But see, if you are interested to become a judge in the state of Bihar, you have to apply separately. In the NCT Delhi, you have to apply separately. In UP, you have to apply separately. So all India Judicial Services will be coming up with a common entrance and exam to allow you the entry into the, and the cadre will be the all India services. Now it's still the lower judiciary, the cadre is the state service. So I think, and apart from that, the same thing will happen also in the higher judicial services. Higher judicial services means you become a judge from the additional district judge level onward. So after 7 years of the practice, after doing the LLB, you becomes entitled for that. Apart from that, officers of the various departments, and a few departments, they really need specialized people in a law. So there is already a centralized service, Indian Legal Services. But let me clarify you, it is still as a central services, Indian Legal Services, for appointing the law officers into the various departments. So I think this government very soon will be coming, and we are very much hopeful for that. And I think now the LLB graduate, or those they are going to be law graduate, they will have a good opportunity if the things will be really materialized. Now, apart from that, the legal advisors. See, after doing the law, and of course of a particular length, you can be a legal advisor of the various corporate firms, various departments, various public sector undertakings. You know what? Apart from that, not only in India, now this is an era of technology. So, being in India, if you are an expert of, you know what, the domestic law of Russia, domestic law of, you know what, China, domestic law of, you know what, the Britain, the US. So you can provide your legal services to the MNCs. Or let us take an example. There is an MNC who is interested to open their, you know what, business in the Gulf countries, and they are not aware at all what are the legal formalities they have to be complete there. And apart from that, see, there are certain international regulations. So if a corporate firm dealing in energy and oil is interested to open their company, or you know what, their establishment into the Gulf countries for exploration of oil or energy, so you can, if you are an expert into that. The point which I am trying to tell you, my dear student, is the law is no more only the something that is being practiced in the courts. Now you can be an international legal advisor for the international MNCs and firms, provided you have an expertise into that area. Energy law, you know what, we have the oil law, forest law. So the kind of interesting area you have, you can develop yourself as a legal advisor into that part. And see, legal advisor doesn't mean only to advising the government. You can be advising to the MNCs, you can advertise to your private counsels. See, judiciary, when I talk about government services, I was talking about the recruitment of judicial services, lower and higher services, through the exam and all. Apart from that, after practicing 10 years, as per the constitution, you becomes entitled to be appointed as a high court judge. And even there is a provision to be directly appoint you to the Supreme Court judge. So you can think of to be, your faculty is known for this. In fact, in India, we have the Faculty of Law, Delhi University is known. I think presently you can look into the Supreme Court. We have the almost more than 5 to 6 alumnus. They are working as honorable judge to the Supreme Court. Apart from that, more than 50 honorable judges to the High Court are from this faculty from different centers. Law Center 1, Law Center 2, and Campus Law Center. So the judiciary, the you know what, above than this process of recruitment through the higher and lower judicial, the direct elevation from the bar. So if you are planning to start your practice from Patna High Court, or from, you know what, Ranchi High Court, or from Chhattisgarh High Court, or Allahabad High Court, irrespectively, there your name will be forwarded after a 10 years length of practice by the Bar Association and in the Collegium, and then to the Supreme Court, and finally you will be get elevated. So this is the another opportunity, of course a traditional one. Now back to the law teaching. I am a law teacher. So now this, let me clarify to you. Now today's teacher is not like, you know what, the picture you have. Law teaching, why I have specifically chosen a profession, I tell you, and why I advise to be choose you. Now MNCs are coming and opening the law schools. The global law schools, they are opening. Schools, law schools, they are opening with the foreign degrees. We have with us few, you can give an example of the Jindal Global Law School. Apart from that, now see, very soon few international MNCs are going and come up with a law school. Apart from that, in India, we have a good quality of law schools, private law schools. We have the national law universities teaching the various advanced courses of the law. And apart from that, see, startup, I talk about, if you have a good law teacher, you can start your own, you know what, coaching and training academy in law to teach them the practical and paralegal, you know what, certificate courses. So you can start here also. So law teaching doesn't mean only the teaching into the universities and faculties. Now, see, the very many private law schools and in law degrees in a greater demand. Apart from that, legal outsourcing. So legal outsourcing, what we call LPO. See, you can open a firm LPO. You can start drafting, you know what, a document for a bank working in US, working in, you know what, New Jersey, working in, you know what, working from any place. So they can hire you because ultimately they want an expert to draft the contract, memorandum of association, or you know what, any kind of paper formalities. So drafting. So these kind of services are being provided, like IT firms. IT firms, Indian IT firms are providing the services to the, you know what, the Silicon Valley, to the various part of the world. So likewise, the law firms, LPOs specifically, you can outsource the work which they need there. The another opportunity is in the private company to be joined as, you know what, the law officers. Apart from that, the legal counsel, and if you are doing a CS and CA. So mandatory after 2013, we have that every private company, they must have a CS. And see, the LLB course, see, it's a deadly combination, I tell you. After doing a law, you can think of to pursue the CS, and you can join the companies as a company secretary, as a chartered accountant, or you can start your own practices there, establish. Apart from that, the legal research. See, either a law firm or a LPO, or even you know what, the legal cell of a company, they all requires research. So when I say legal research, that doesn't mean only the research, the academic research. Of course, there is an academic research, but apart from that, now we have the good law journals, we have the good legal softwares. So they recruit legal researchers, and now you all are, you know what, aware of the technology. So now they know the internet, you know what, the technology savvy legal researchers. So legal research itself is a good profession developing. Very soon I will be finishing up because I know my time limitation, and I think I have still 5 minutes. So very soon, see, so this legal research we can think of.
Plugged into Nirvana.
Yes.
You're now addicted to Stone
So
Rugby.
now
Arjun,
Arjun,
please.
I request, I think I have 5 more
You
minutes,
can
so I will be finishing up. So the legal research I was talking about. Apart from that legal research, the army, very few, see, after doing a law, the JAG, Judge Advocate General, and see, they have the separate recruitment process, and you can be the, you know what, the Judge Advocate General, what we call JAG, into the army. It's a selection process is that 5 days SSB you have to be qualified, and after that you become, and you have to practice before the on behalf of the army into the various you know what, court martial proceedings. Apart from that, now we have the Armed Forces Tribunal Act, and accordingly we have the bench headquarter at Delhi and Chandigarh and Lucknow. So there you have to be appear on behalf of the army to you know what, to argue on behalf of them, their battalion and all that, their service proceeding. So Judge Advocate General. Now the bank, in banking services there is IBPS, that is the body, IBPS, which recruit every year law officers for the all banks. There was a time when the banks, they used to recruit the law officers separately for their own banks, but now there is a IBPS, that is a portal, that is a body which combinedly recruit and you know what, appoint the bank officers at scale 1, scale 2 level law manager and law officers to the various banks with a good salary. So the bank, now journalism, the legal journalism is now developing the legal correspondent. You can be a legal correspondent to the various media groups for print media and electronic media. Now legal startup, about which I always used to talk into the specifically, in fact, in Law Center 1, we have this clinic, entrepreneurial clinic, and also to the other centers where we train the law student to start their own startup, like Law Octopus, Live Law. We have the Legal Byte and something sort of that. So you provide some kind of services through online to the lawyers, to the litigant, or you know what, establishing. And see, the government of India provides much of the finances for such kind of proposals. So we have the Atal Innovation or what we call Navachar centers in every university, where this center provides the finance to the government to, you know what, not only in law, in any you know what, a professional subject. If you are thinking to start your own startup, your own entrepreneur, so you can get in finance from the government and you can start your startup own. Apart from that, the few immediately emerging fields are resolution planner. So under IBC code, insolvency and bankruptcy code, now if a company is a dying company, is a company not able to be survive in the market because of any reason, so as per the IBC code, there will be a resolution planner. And of course, law graduates are the preferable resolution planner, those they are done with the CA and CS. So they come forward, they give a resolution plan. And according to that plan, the one company is being merged or acquired by the another sound company, or the company who's having a financial, who is financially sound. So that company will be required. So basically, this new profession is emerging, insolvency practitioner, preferably I call, or they are resolution planner. So they come. So now at the process of you know what, picking up a company who is not able to be carry on the business and merging or with a plan to merge it into a sound company. Anyway, now the next thing is a mediator. Friends, let me tell you, I was talking about the conflict management. So corporate sector, because the government of India is very much interested to attract the foreign investment. So accordingly, we have also to provide them ease of doing the business. So see, the MNCs are no more interested to litigate the matter, rather they are you know what, manage the dispute, to solve the dispute through the mediation, through the conciliation. So mediator, I think in the law faculty, the subject, the ADR is being taught in a practical manner to train, and we have to do the mediation practices. So as a mediator, you can develop yourself to settle the dispute through the mediation by establishing your own good offices. Now you can develop yourself as an arbitrator. There is a slight difference between mediation and arbitration in India, so far as the mediation is being governed by certain rules framed by the Supreme Court, and we have MCPC. So far as arbitration is concerned, in 2019 and 18, we have changed the major amendment to the Arbitration Act, and now in India, institutional arbitration has been allowed. And we have the Indian Arbitration Center, and in Delhi, because previously Singapore and London was the only center for the arbitration. So even if there is a dispute in India between two corporations or two MNCs, then people have to go to the Singapore or London for mediation. And even if there is Indian arbitrators, but now the Indian law has been changed. Now we have the institutional arbitration allowed in India. So this can be the another area to develop yourself as an arbitrator. Now the client management. Now we have the WIC chambers. So they engage the, you know what, the people with LLB and management to manage their client. So that's called client management and client counseling. So that can be the another area where you can develop yourself. Now the chamber and office management. So by creating your own legal startup, or even by creating your own event management company, you can hire the services to the big chambers in Bombay, Delhi, Noida, and all that, to manage their chamber, to, you know what, beautify their chamber. So these are the few things which I was talking to you. Apart from that, I would end myself with the wordings that see, law is expanding its horizon. Law is no more the subject matter of practice only inside the court. Outside the court, the law is developing, the legal profession is developing in a very rapid manner with various dimensions, with various horizons. So I think now law is one of the attracting profession. So don't think that you are in a law, so you are at a wrong place or something where don't have an opportunity. You have multiple of opportunity. You have an opportunity more than any profession. With this, I in myself here, thanking to the ABBP Law Center 1 unit, thanking to the Student Union of the Law Center 1 for inviting me and to interacting with you for such a talk. And I congratulate you on this Parakram Day with remembering to our national leader Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. Thank you. I am open to
Thank
the
you,
question.
sir. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your insight with us. Please mute. Hello.
The platform is open for question. If anybody has any question, kindly put it on the chat box and our host will take question from there itself. Put the question on the chat box. Thank you.
Sir, there is a question from Balvanti. Is an LLM necessary for becoming legal advisor?
Yeah, see, one thing I couldn't talk about this LLM and all. The another opportunity you can go and pursue the LLM degree from foreign universities. Of course, it's a higher degree, but see, LLM is not required as such to become a legal advisor. It's an add-on degree, I tell you. What is really required? Your work experience, I tell you. Your work experience, if you want to develop yourself as an IP attorney, say intellectual property attorney, one of the emerging area in the legal practice, the modern legal practice. So it doesn't matter. Of course, if you have a higher degree LLM from any national law university or a university like Delhi University or any reputed university or even from foreign university, it will be an add-on to you. But apart from that, I tell you, what will more matter is your practice of intellectual property laws, your practice with a good lawyer, with a good chamber, so that you will be in a position to advise or counseling in IP firms. And even see, not only IP firms, I tell you, even the non-legal research, the people doing a research in science, technology, innovations. So they engage the law people for getting the patent specification, drafting the patent specification. Let me tell you, now the India is one of the country which outsource the patent drafting. Patent drafting. We known for drafting the patent specifications. Apart from that, the trademark registration, the copyright registration, the geographical indication registration. So see, IP is one of the emerging area like the insolvency and bankruptcy course. So of course, if you have an LLM, that will be an add-on degree. But do the LLM with the specialization in which you are interested to practice or to develop yourself as a legal research. Doing an LLM, general LLM is good for academics, to go into the academics, joining as a law teaching. But if you are planning to do an LLM to develop yourself as a legal advisor, then it will be more better if you are interested to advise and to become a legal advisor to a energy firm, to a oil firm, or a MNC or a public sector undertaking dealing with the coal. So develop yourself and do the LLM in specialized with the public sector legislations, or specialized in the oil and energy laws or in the petroleum laws. So like that manner you can shape your LLM, or you can join an LLM with the specialization.
Sir, there is a question from Sweta Singh that if you could tell us something about career in academics, and please tell us about how one can become a professor of law and what is the scope in this field.
Okay. Yes. See, this is something really I like. See, there is a two-way. In India, the UGC, the University Grant Commission, is the regulatory body to appoint the teachers, and as per them, the qualification is the NET uh, into the particular subject. So is with the law. So if you are NET in law, you are eligible to be appointed as a assistant professor in law. See, so far as NET exam is concerned, initially when we were doing the LLM, it was only allowed in the final semester. So if you are in a final semester up to years LLM degree, then you are allowed to be fill up the NET form. But now onward, after doing LLB, immediately you join a LLM. So from the first semester, you will be allowed to appear in the exam of the NET. So during the LLM, you will get 4 chances, twice in a year. So now the LLM is up 2 years only. Now 1 year LLM is, I think, with the recent update, it is de-recognized. So during LLM, you have the 4 chances to qualify the NET. And immediately, if during this period you qualify the NET, you can immediately after doing the law, you will be engaged on a good salary by the different private law schools and even in the university as an on ad hoc basis immediately on a handsome salary. But if you are really shape your career in academics, it will be advisable after LLM you do the PhD research and then join to the law teaching. Because see, if after you are joining a assistant professor after doing PhD, you will get a 5 increment of 5 add-on onto your salary. But see, the point is that the moment you qualify the NET and you get the LLM degree, you are now entitled to be appointed as a teacher. So PhD is the another degree which you will require definitely for incentives as well as from the next level of the promotion. So that is the thing with regard to the legal academics. And see, law teaching is also an emerging area. In fact, we have the good number of national law universities and increasing day by day. Apart from that, the global law schools, the international, MNCs are coming in India. They are opening the law schools with much of the salary, like the Bennett Coleman, the Times of India, they have opened their law school, the Jindal Global Law School. Apart from that, the very many other corporations have opened their law schools and they are paying the salary much higher than the government universities. So do not take that the law teaching is only teaching in the traditional universities. You see the environment in the national law universities. There also they are paying very handsome salary. So this is something regard to the law teaching. Yes.
Sir, one question more is from Himanshu Jaiswal.
Yes.
He said that as sir you told sir about ADR and international law, is there any placement cell in DU or student can connect with such companies platform?
Yeah, see,
And
I tell you, there is a innovation center. I tell you, I was talking about the startup. See, there is a placement cell in DU, but see, in law at the faculty level as well as at the center level, we have the placement cells. So we have the placement cell of Law Center 1, we have the placement cell of Law Center 2, we have the placement cell of Campus Law Center, and we have the one integrated placement cell at the faculty level. Apart from that, we organize every year. In this year, I think because of this corona pandemic, the things could not be materialized. Otherwise, every year for the final year students, combinedly, we invite the law firms in and around Delhi and even from the Bangalore, Bombay, to come in the campus, and they recruit. I tell you, they provide and they recruit the our student of our final year students. Apart from that, see, the university have the innovation center, incubation and innovation center, and I request all of the law students, if you will go with your proposal, specifically the final year student, the second year student, if you will go, and not only in law, into the other subjects, those they are pursuing commerce, economics, and all that. If you will go to with your proposal of starting your own startup, the university have a financing agency. In fact, it is by the government through the university incubation and innovation center. Now the on a very low interest rate, they provide the finance to your startup, to your project, so that you can develop your own entrepreneur. Yes.
sir, one question from Pooja is that what is the scope of cyber crime investigation?
Yeah, of course, I tell you, I see, this is the area I couldn't tell you. Now the the investigating agencies. Now we have NIA, National Investigating Agency, specifically for the terrorist attack and something sort of that. Apart from that, the CBI, the another investigating agency. Now we have the CDI at the state level. We have the special investigation agency, CDI, it's a different name at the state level. Apart from that, the police, which is the regular investigating agency. So they all hire a cyber crime expert. And see, in India, the cyber crime experts are very few. So that is why they outsource them. And see, the cyber crime investigation and the data analysis, system analysis, I tell you, is another emerging area which you can pursue after doing a law. How to, analyze the evidences. How to, to help the prosecutor to the assistant prosecutors in the court to establish that the person X has committed the crime. So cyber expert, data analyst experts are being engaged by the investigating agencies, and the regular vacancies are also coming. The data analysis expert, the cyber investigating experts. So this is the area which you can think definitely. Yes. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yes,
Anything
you
else?
are audible. Sir, there is a common question from couple of students that how to prepare for judiciary while pursuing LLB.
Yeah, see, very good question. I think to an extent, why I like this, I tell you, you plan your career when you are doing an LLB. Don't plan your career after doing the law. The wage varies. If you are planning to become an advocate, so your lifestyle or you're doing a law, your approach to the law should be different. And when you are applying to become a judicial officer, so your study of law, the approach of study of the law should be different, and the areas should be different, because we in law have very many papers. So what optional papers should be taken when you are thinking and you are very much clear that I wanted to be a judicial officer? I told you there is a lower judicial judiciary and higher judiciary. Higher judiciary you becomes after 7 years of the practice. So when you have joined, immediately you can start preparing for the lower judicial services. Few state appoint at the post of civil judge junior division, few appoint at the the name called civil judge, simply entry level. See the papers, there are some compulsory papers. So these are in the syllabus of almost judicial services of all states. However, few of these states are having different criteria. Like in the state of Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh, the judgment writing is one of the very important paper. It's another scoring paper. But in state of UP and Bihar, the language and GS is a more scoring paper. Your general science, your general studies, and apart from that, the international law and family law, international organizations, these are very important when you are preparing for the state of UP or the Uttarakhand. They both are having a common syllabus. If you wanted to become a judge in Uttarakhand and UP, you have to be very clear the jurisprudence, international law, tort, contract, and then international organizations, then international law. These are very important paper. But when you prepare for a Bihar Judicial Services, the international law is a paper that is not much of important. The judgment writing is a paper that is not of much important. But when you are planning for UP, the judgment writing is also one of the important paper in UP Judicial Services. Likewise, in Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh, judgment writing is one of the very important, and even they ask the criminal problems. And when you come to the state of Haryana, so they conduct the mains in a open book system. So you have to be very clear on the barracks. In a limited time, there will be book in front of you. The open book mains takes. But if you are clear that where is the law, then immediately you will open and you will apply that section. So there will be problem-based question in Haryana as well as in the Delhi. So Delhi Judicial Services and Haryana Judicial Services, they always focus on to the problem-based question. Problem-based question they ask. The way we ask in our Delhi university exams. So to analysis power should be very important. There will be an hypothetical problem and you have to apply a law into that. So basically, the group of state having a different appointment strategy. Different papers are important. Like the MP and Chhattisgarh, different papers are important for slightly in UP and Uttarakhand, and different papers and strategy requires for cracking the Delhi Judicial Services and the Haryana Judicial Services. Rest, there are some common papers, and that is equally important for all judicial services. Yes.
Sir, as we know, if we go on, it will last for hours. So taking the last question of the session from Ankit. Sir, please
Yes.
tell us about the NGT and environment law and its role and its consequence.
Yeah, see, the one of the wonderful area in law to be practiced, which I couldn't talk to you. Thanks for the someone who raised this question. NGO. See, the opening an NGO, don't think that, see, you will not get anything out of this. See, if you are opening an NGO, it is like a startup. It is like a startup, and see, the government provides very many funds to organize very many, philanthropic activities through NGOs. And see, it is, through taking the money from the government and organizing at the grassroots level awareness campaign of the law or of anything. So for that, the laws permits. What is the limitation on the NGOs are that you cannot see what was the problem, that they have taken a money and funds from the international agencies, and they have not utilized it for the purpose they have taken it. So that's a different story. The point which I am trying to tell you is that through the NGO, you can, organize very many activities, and you can, open your legal NGOs for availing the rights, even filing the writ petition, the FIR quashing and all that on behalf of the litigant. Those they are not able to be approach the court because of the non-awareness, or because of the whether they are they could not engage a good lawyer. So this is another area about which you can think of it, and you can even engage your researchers also into that area. Yes.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your insight with us. And
Thank you
I'm
very
quite
much, sir.
sure that the knowledge we received from you will help us. Now, moving towards the end of this wonderful webinar, I would like to request Mr. Akash Shukla, who is the current Vice President of Law Center 1 and former Secretary of ABVP Law Center 1 unit, to kindly give vote of thanks. Akash, yeah.
Unmute yourself, Akash bhaiya.
Sorry. Thank you, Subha. A very good evening, everyone. My name is Akash Shukla, and I am here to present the vote of thanks for today's webinar on the occasion of 125th birth anniversary of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, being celebrated as Parakram Divas. We salute Netaji's vision and invincible spirit and selfless service to the nation. I would like to start by thanking our esteemed speaker, Mr. Guru Prakash Paswan, sir, Assistant Professor, Faculty of Law, Patna University, and Dr. Vikesh Ram Tripathi, sir, Assistant Professor, Faculty of Law, University of Delhi, for enlightening us on Netaji's vision, role of youth in nation rebuilding, and exploring law as a paradigm of opportunities. We feel proud to host such an eloquent and learned speakers, and also look forward to have their guidance again in the future. Proceeding further, I would like to thank my fellow union members, the entire ABVP Law Center 1 family, event coordinators, the host, and for providing us with the opportunity to be a part of such an enriching experience. Lastly, I would like to thank all the participants for gracing us with your esteemed presence in the event. Thank you.
So now I think I should leave. I think the program is over. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much, sir.
sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.